and welcome to a new video. I finally finished my Angewomon cosplay. It has always been my dream cosplay and I've been working on it for 4 months. When I started this, I was hoping to finish it in about 2 months and yeah, I think that was a little bit ambitious. So because there's just so much to talk about, I decided to split it up into 3 parts. So the first part, this part you're watching right now, is about the wings and how I attached it to my body. The second part is about the ribbon, the cowl and the helmet. And the third part is about the bodysuit, the bra armor, the glove and the shoes. So before we start, I want to give a shout out to the cosplayer Faelia, who already did an amazing Angewomon cosplay. She also made a tutorial about how she made her Angewomon wings. And although I ended up making things quite differently than she did, it was a great inspiration and a general idea how to start with it. I will put her social media and the link to her tutorial in the description below, so please check her out. So without further ado, let's start. First of all, I started by drawing and creating a pattern for the wings. Therefore, we took a picture of me with as little distortion as possible, and I took that as a reference to draw the wings around my body and get the proportions exactly right. I did that with Adobe Illustrator, but you can use any vector-based program you like. I saved the file as a PDF, scaled it up and printed it as a poster. That resulted in roughly 60 pages that I could then stick together, and ta-da! There I had my huge pattern. I laid myself on top of them and had my boyfriend take a picture of me just to make sure the proportions were correct, and luckily they were, and I didn't have to do it all over again. I then created the base for the wings. It's made out of 2 strings of wire with a diameter of 3.4 millimeters. My wire had a plastic coating which you don't really need, it was simply the only one available at our hardware store, and if you find one without, that is totally fine. I twisted the 2 long strings to get even more stability. Maybe 1 wire would have already been enough because the wings are so lightweight, but I really wanted to make sure that it is strong enough. I used all of my muscle strength to shape the wire into the desired form. The wire can get a little bit out of control when twisting, so better wear safety goggles to make sure it all stays fun and games. The base shape can be much smaller than the actual wing. Like that. To cut the wire, I'm using a mini side cutter. I then took 60mm pipes that I cut to the desired length and filled my wire into the pipes. The pipes will be very important for the mount. I'm filling each pipe with a lot of hot glue so the wire will be stuck in there forever. Now to the fun part. The wings are made out of flooring foam, which is the material you put under wooden flooring so it minimizes the noise of the footsteps. It comes in different sizes and I bought 2 rolls, one 3mm and one 5mm thick. I first bought 3mm and realized that it's actually a little bit too thin, but I could still use it for some of the smaller top layers, so it was fine. The 5mm foam is much more durable and works better for the bigger layers. Put the foam over your wing pattern and put some weights at each end so it stays in place. It is a bit see-through, so you can easily cut along the lines. My wings have 3 layers, the big base and 2 smaller ones on top. So for each wing I cut out one of the big layers and 2 pieces of the middle and top layer for the front and back. The flooring underlay comes with a wavy texture, which can be a bit annoying, so make sure to place the texture along the length of the wing. That way it won't be too visible in the end. Now onto the part that took the longest. Sewing it on. To sew it on, I first glued some white fabric onto the wire. I'm using hot glue here and it doesn't need to be perfect because it won't be visible anyway. So let's be messy. I started with a big layer and spread it out onto the pattern, put the wire base over it and pinned it on. Then I stitched it onto the fabric by hand. I did this for each individual layer and it took quite a bit of time. It's mostly busy work and you can put on your favorite show to make the step a little bit more bearable. I think I've binged a whole season of Modern Family during this step. And here's the finished wing with the base underneath. I first wanted to cover the top part with some more foam to make it look a little bit more clean because you can see the edges and the seams. But at some point I was just too exhausted and it's not that visible anyway. I will probably do that at some point though, but that's how they look for now. So that's it about the wings, and now it's time to build a base to attach them to. I made a backplate out of 3mm PVC foam board. It's a great material because you can cut it with a Dremel, shape it with heat, and it's very durable. I first drafted a pattern by measuring my back, and I suggest getting the help of a friend or use a dress form. I traced the pattern onto the PVC with a pen and cut it out with a Dremel. Make sure to wear safety goggles and a mask. After cutting it out, I took one of our dress forms to mold the PVC into the shape of my back so I can get it to be a nice and snug fit. The material can become very hot, so use a dress form and not yourself. And you should definitely make a test to see if the dress form can take the heat. You can heat up the material with a heat gun. That'll give you a few seconds to press it onto the dress form and mold it into shape. Do this over and over again until it fits the curve of your back. When working with this material, it is very important that you use a respirator mask with filters and open the windows if possible. The vapors are very toxic, and while we're at it, also use work gloves to not burn your hands. When you are happy with the shape, you can attach the straps. I used 3 in total, 1 around each shoulder and 1 around the waist. It depends on the design of the cosplay, but since Angewomon has 2 straps around her waist anyway, I could have added these for extra stability. I marked the spots for the straps on my dress form, took my trusty Dremel again and cut in little holes for the straps to go through. The ribbons you can see here were just temporary, and I later swapped them out and used invisible brass straps around the shoulders and fake leather around the waist. After that, I had to attach the wings to the backplate. I once again took my huge pattern, which took up all the space in the living room, put the plate in the middle and laid out all of the wings around it in their exact position. Then I could mark each position of the pipe. Each wing needed 2 clips to properly attach to the mount, and with 8 wings it was kinda tricky to find enough room on that small plate, so here's how I arranged them. The first 4 wings lie next to each other and the bottom 4 wings are underneath each other. It required a little bit of molding and reshaping the wings, but nothing that couldn't be fixed under pressure. Just make sure that the wings still fit into the pattern when they are attached to the plate. I also had to trim some of the pipes again so they could fit onto the plate. After marking the position of each pipe, I marked the position for the clips and drilled in little holes. The clips are 15mm wide and a little bit smaller than the pipes. This helps to make sure the wings really stay in place.
You know we have a screwdriver, right?
I don't need a screwdriver.
No, clearly this is going swimmingly.
I got matching plastic screws for the clips, but had to cut off a few millimeters off the top because they were a bit too long. But since they are just made out of plastic, you can easily cut them with a Dremel.
Why do I not get safety goggles?
While wearing the wings, I noticed that the 4 huge wings were rotating a little bit. I put the wings in their position and last minute glued on some of the leftover clips so they would stop the wings from moving. Maybe not the most clean and beautiful work I've done here, but it works, and that's what counts. To hide the ugly construction at the back, I sewed a cover made out of white fabric that I can put over the bottom and attach it on top with snaps. And yep, that is how I made the wings. Okay, fun fact. I now actually pay attention to how my cosplay looks from the back. I didn't do that until recent events. I was participating in the Gamescom cosplay contest. It was all digital, of course, because of COVID-19, and I made it to the finals, and therefore we had to take also a video of our cosplay from the front, the side and the back. And I participated with my winged Victory Mercy, and she also has wings. And back then I didn't really know how to attach the wings and build kind of a weird construct. And the problem with this cosplay is that the back is really low. You can see a lot from the back, and this also means that you can also see a lot from the way how I attach the wings. And this doesn't look too great, but I was like, I don't care. I won't turn around that much on conventions, and we won't take pictures from the back anyway, so it's fine. So for taking the videos, we went outside and just around the corner and past the little cafe, and it was in summer and some kids were out there and they were super excited and wanted to join us, and they were like, oh my gosh, this cosplay is so cool, this is so amazing, you look so beautiful. And then we had to take the pictures from the back, and I was already like, please don't say anything. And the kids were like, I don't like that. That's not beautiful.
That's really bad.
And that hurt. And I never want this to happen ever again. So from now on, I will pay attention to how that cosplay looks from the back. Yeah. Another point I would like to mention is that I generally think that cosplay isn't the best ecological wise, because it creates so much trash, sadly, and especially for this cosplay. I had like 2 of these bags with plastic waste, because this is the leftover I got from the wings, and I didn't want to throw it away, so I was kind of thinking about options, how to reuse that, and this actually works great as a filling for stuff. You can cut these in very small pieces and you don't have to buy filling anymore. So for example, if you are making an Ari tail or something like that, you can just stuff all that stuff in and I don't have to throw it away, which is good and makes me feel a little bit better. So yeah, that was the video. I hope it was helpful for you. Hope you liked it. Please let me know if you're also working on your own wings for any cosplay. And yeah, if you liked the video, please give it a like, because it supports me and my channel. And don't forget to subscribe to see new videos in the future. And yeah, see you for the next video. Bye bye! Don't really need, it was simply the only one available at our hardware. I twisted that is hard. So for each wing I cut out one, the flooring underlay comes with each wing